Did you know? Metroid was originally called Space Hunter. This term can still be seen in the game's instruction booklet where it refers to bounty hunters as space hunters. According to a developer interview in the Japanese magazine Nintendo Dream, Nintendo wanted to use the term bounty hunter but couldn't rewrite the text in time for the game's release. They later settled on the name Metroid, which came from combining the words metro, as in a metro subway, and android, which is strange considering the game's protagonist, Samus Aran, isn't an android. That said, Samus's identity wasn't fully realized until partway through the game's development. Her gender was decided after developers said, "Hey, wouldn't it be kind of cool if it turned out that this person inside the suit was a woman?" Samus's physical appearance in Super Metroid was based on the actress Kim Basinger. Her second name, Aran, came from soccer player Pele, whose real name was Edison Arantes do Nascimento. Samus was referred to as a he in the instruction booklet, though this may have been a cover-up to ensure the end reveal was shocking. Samus originally had unique animations for walking left and right, rather than having the same animation mirrored for both directions. These unused sprites are actually still in the game's data. Samus's movement also went through some changes. At first, the developers thought she moved too slow on screen. They increased her speed, but this increase made it hard to maneuver through small areas and on small platforms. Thus, the environments were made larger to compensate, resulting in the expansive labyrinths the series is known for. Samus's iconic design, dressed in the round-shouldered Varia suit, didn't debut until Metroid 2: Return of Samus. In the first Metroid, the different suits that Samus equips, the Varia suit and the Power suit, were the same shape but had different colors. The Game Boy's visuals lacked color, so for Metroid 2, these suits were redesigned so players could tell them apart. Also, the name Varia suit was a mistranslation from Japanese and was meant to be called Barrier suit, as stated in Metroid's instruction booklet. In Super Metroid, Samus initially appeared naked when she died. However, the developers gave her clothes to avoid controversy outside of Japan. Samus also spoke as she died, but the voice was removed for sounding too sexual. Super Metroid's title screen was also changed during development. The graphics for this can be pulled from the game's ROM to reveal the original title, Metroid. The Super Metroid boss Crocomire was planned to appear in Metroid Zero Mission. Not only are the boss's graphics present, but Crocomire's behavior is partially programmed into the game as well. A Metroid fan called Trunar68 created a hack for the game that fleshes out Crocomire's movements to resemble the Super Metroid boss fight. There's also a plethora of Crocomire concept art from Metroid Prime 3 Corruption, suggesting Crocomire was meant to appear in that game as well. The boss Kraid was set to make an appearance in Metroid Prime. The graphics for Kraid resembled the Super Metroid design, but included metal prosthetics similar to those found on Meta Ridley. As a result, fans dubbed the boss Meta Kraid. There's also concept art for Kraid without metal prosthetics, showing it had multiple stages of development before being dropped completely. There's also an unused ice boss in Metroid Prime. Its color scheme, spikes, and the position of its tusks resemble the Sheegoth, so it's possible this creature is somehow related to them. It's also possible that the boss Thardus may have replaced this ice monster. You face Thardus in a cold climate, but some early animations show Thardus as a lava-themed boss. Thardus could have been altered and repurposed in order to fill the void by removing the ice boss. Some of the roars made by the bosses in Super Metroid greatly resemble roars from the Godzilla movies. When Crocomire dies, it lets out what seems to be the roar of Titanosaurus. And the same roar seems to be used again when the boss Phantoon is hit. Dragon's cry also resembles the cry of the Godzilla monster, Anguirus. There are many similarities between the Metroid and Alien franchises. These similarities have been acknowledged by Metroid's co-creator, Yoshio Sakamoto. He stated that the first Alien movie influenced the creation of Metroid, and that his team thought the presentation in Alien was a good match for the Metroid world they had already put in place. In addition to basic design influences from the Alien franchise, some events from the first 4 Metroid games resemble events from the first 4 Alien movies. Here are just a few examples. After hatching, the first forms of the alien xenomorphs and the first forms of the Metroids both latch onto the heads of their victims, and both species have multiple stages of metamorphosis. Both Metroid and Alien have female lead protagonists, both of which narrowly escape explosions and are shown half-clothed at the ending. The boss Ridley also shares his name with Alien movie director Ridley Scott. In the sequel to Alien, Aliens, Ripley travels to the source of the alien xenomorphs, the moon LV-426. In Metroid 2, Samus travels to the source of the Metroids, SR-388. Both stories center around the heroines attempting to exterminate the alien threat in their universe. Aliens introduces the Queen Alien, Metroid 2 introduces the Queen Metroid. In the third Metroid game, Super Metroid, the Key Hunters have the ability to spit acid, and in Alien 3, a xenomorph also spits acid. In the fourth Alien movie, Alien Resurrection, Ripley is cloned and the embryo of an alien queen is extracted from her body. The cloning process unites alien DNA with Ripley's, turning her into a human alien alien hybrid. In the fourth Metroid game, Metroid Fusion, Samus becomes infected with a virus, but is later cured with a vaccine. The vaccine uses Samus's cellular sample taken from the remains of the baby Metroid that she came into contact with in Super Metroid, and this vaccine ultimately gives her Metroid-like powers. Wayland Yutani Corporation clones xenomorphs from Ripley's embryo to use as weapons. Similarly, the Galactic Federation uses the baby Metroid's cells to clone a series of Metroids, and both labs end up being destroyed by Ripley and Samus. Xenomorphs don't attack Ripley as she's a human-alien hybrid and they think she's one of them. With the exception of the Omega Metroid, the Metroids don't attack Samus, presumably for the same reasons. It's possible that Metroid 2 is going to receive a DX remake, much like Link's Awakening DX. In the April 1998 issue of the German club Nintendo magazine, a full-color image of Metroid 2 was shown. It's not known if the image was representing a game in development or if it was simply a mock-up. A fan remake of Metroid 2, known as Another Metroid 2 Remake, sparked a comment from Retro Studios artist Benjamin Sprout, saying, "I've always thought it'd be awesome to remake Metroid 2. A group of us at Retro even discussed doing it as a side project at one point. To our knowledge, the idea never progressed. There are lots of unused test rooms in Metroid Other M. Most are fairly basic and lack detail, but one of them stands out. This room is actually from Ninja Gaiden 2, where you fight the boss Resetsu at the top of a building. The background tower is no longer present in the model, but the structure is mostly intact. There's a room shown in the trailer for Metroid Fusion where Samus uses a power bomb against zombie scientists. This part of the game was removed, but the room itself is still in the game's code. The crystals from Wario Land 4 can also be found in the game's code. This is because Metroid Fusion was made using Wario Land 4's game engine. In Metroid Fusion, when you unclog the exhaust fans in Sector 1, there's a secret hidden in the blockage. If you look to the top left corner of the rubble, you can see a partly disguised Nintendo GameCube. That's all for today, but don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Make sure you also check out DidYouKnowGaming.com where we post gaming trivia every single day. If you liked this video, check out our other videos. Also, be sure to check out the WeeklyTubeShow videos. One a day keeps you happy, healthy, and mentally stable.